Thank you everyone for clicking back on my YouTube channel, the Silos Film Club. Today we're going to be talking about more news of Lanterns, more sad news for DCU's Lanterns TV show series that was supposed to be coming out early next year. And we might have some date changes for that. We also going to be talking about Take It With a Grain of Salt, but leaks of a Avengers Doomsday upcoming trailer. Someone has seen the trailer allegedly. Take it with a grain of salt, but we'll be diving deep into this. But before we get started with the movie news for today, don't forget to hit the like and subscribe button. Turn on your notifications so you guys do not miss a beat on any of the movie news. All right, for our very first topic, our very first news for today, for us DCU fans, we have some sad news. Lanterns no longer set to premiere before Supergirl, according to DC Report. This has been going on for a day or two, and I wanted to let the kind of the smoke go down so I can see if anything started to filter through to see if this was true or not. But yeah, this is coming to you from a lot of websites. I'm going to give you guys from Games Radar to see exactly what they think and why. And I'll give you guys my thoughts and why I think why they're delaying, Lanterns. But yeah, guys, this is according to GamesRadar.com. Lanterns no longer set to premiere before Supergirl, according to DC Report. Let's see. In a potential shakeup in the DC slate, it sounds like Lantern could actually arrive after Supergirl, according to the latest update. As spotted by Green Lantern's podcast, The Hollywood Reporter indicated early in October that Supergirl would arrive before Lanterns. While discussing Peacemaker Season 2, the finale will mark the last of Gunverse. We'll see until June, Supergirl said the publication's newsletter. The podcast reached out for clarification, and according to the email exchange, the podcast shared the Hollywood, I think it's THR, confirmed that Lanterns is now expected to release after Supergirl. This is a slight change to what was already known about Lanterns' potential release schedule in February. James Gunn and the co-CEO Peter Safran indicated that Lanterns would arrive in early 2026 per deadline. Supergirl is coming out June 26, so it would seem Lanterns have been shifted back by a few months. Of course, since Lanterns never officially had a release date, this isn't strictly a delay. Things also may shift again, and nothing has actually been confirmed by DC Studios. Lanterns stars Aaron Pierre, John Stewart, and Colin Chandler as Hood Jordan. Our shows a lot of ways about replacement. When should someone step aside and when it's time for the next person to take the reins? Showrunner Chris Money said recently, this push and pull between these two characters is really important. So much of the power that John has by not taking the bait, understanding that you lose your power if you're yelling and screaming. Our Lanterns is pretty much it's pretty much being delayed again. I thought it was going to come out the first quarter of next year, just like how James Gunn and Peter Safran had, mentioned, but it's not. It's going to be coming out after Supergirl. Supergirl comes out June of 2026, or was it July, where I just read? But anyways, it's going to come out after the summer. Could it come out right after, like in August, maybe? But I highly doubt it, guys. I think this is going to be coming out like, I'll say, if I put my money, September and October of next year. And I think it has to do with a couple of things. I think some VFX. I think maybe the way the story of Lanterns ended, they didn't want it to end, right after, right before Supergirl. Maybe it sets a little bit something more up, because if you guys don't know, they did say, but they have been saying this about Peacemaker and a lot of others, and some DC projects, that this sets a tone and a pretty much a narrative for the rest of the DCU story of the arc. Pretty much, we have Hal Jordan and John Stewart here on Earth, and they're gonna, it's kind of True Detective style. They're trying to figure out a case, a murder that they have to solve here on Earth. And it's sets a bigger picture and a bigger threat for the the future of the DCU. I don't know how much of it is gonna be true, because we've seen over and over and over this narrative of like Peacemaker. It was supposed to end and supposed to set something big up, which it was only that that other prison dimension that they put Peacemaker in. But yeah, I think this is gonna set a little bit more of that. I do like that. If it's something about just them taking their time with the CGI effects, because it is supposed to be very grounded, but I think they're going to be suiting up a lot. And the CGI effects and maybe the story a little bit at the end, I'm all for it. I wish it came out earlier, better than later. I'm more excited for Lanterns than I am for Supergirl, and I'm actually more excited for Lanterns than I am for any other DCU project they have announced. I am excited for the DCU Batman, but it's all over the place. We don't really have anything for it, so I'm not going to get too excited for that yet. I'm more excited for the Batman Part 2, but Lanterns in the DCU I'm very excited for what the story they're giving us. They even said it's about when to step aside, let someone else lead. Kyle Chandler is more of a seasoned vet, and he's pretty much working with a newer comer, Aaron Pierre's John Stewart, and we've also had confirmation that John Stewart's projections come from his background. He's an architect, and he's very smart as well. So I think they're gonna touch on the VFX, which I'm very cool for, because I'm really okay with, because if he's coming out with these projections and he's an architect, his things are gonna look super awesome. His lantern projections are gonna be crazy looking. I think they should go all out with his, and I think Hal Jordan's lantern projections are going to be more of a kind of a heavy hitter. I'm kind of more destroying stuff, and hammers and bats and stuff like that. I think they'll do a lot more with him too as well, but I think John Stewart is going to be a lot more architecture type objects, and I like the dynamic. I think it's going to be very lethal weapon kind of scenario where one guy's a seasoned vet here in Lantern Corps, and John Stewart's kind of the newcomer. I don't know what they're gonna do. He has to prove himself, but he also is a newcomer, and he is very big, and I think he's going to be very intimidating. I think he's not going to be a pushover, or I don't think it's going to be a training day situation where he's going to be getting, not bullied, but getting pushed around by Hal Jordan. I think there's going to be a lot of jokes between them. I think their chemistry is going to be off the charts awesome. But I'm very excited for this show, guys. Very, very excited for Lanterns. The writers behind this, the guys that did Ozark and True Detective. So you cannot go wrong with this. But I'm very bummed out that they are delaying this. Very, very bummed out because you're not going to see much of the DC and DCU for a while. So that does suck. But overall, guys, that is it's sad news for Lanterns. It's getting pushed back by a few months. We didn't ever had a release date, an actual release date, besides the first quarter of next year. But let me know your comments down below if you guys are bummed out about this, or you guys feel like this is a good idea so they can touch up on CGI or any storytelling for Lanterns TV series. Alright guys, now we're going to be talking about Avengers Doomsday. We do have some rumors and online leaks about a trailer that should be coming out. There's a lot rolling on this film. Probably one of the most anticipated films by Marvel fans that of a Marvel movie that's came out in years since Endgame, and there's a lot of writing on this movie. We all know Robert Downey Jr. is coming back as Doom, and a lot of people have been speculating theories and who else is coming back besides all the people that have been casted already. But there's a lot of rumors about someone that, take this by a grain of salt, but about someone that already saw the trailer that they should be releasing. I think that they should be releasing, and they say that it's gonna be releasing right in front of Avatar: Fire and Ash. They say that's for sure coming out around that time. I don't know if it is. I think it'll come out I think it's gonna come out around Super Bowl, if I'm being honest. But they do confirm that it's coming out around that time when that movie releases. But the person who saw it said it's not finished, but this person was surprised by the amount of footage that they showed of Doom in action. This is not a teaser trailer, said Chris Gore. You're not just going to get a glimpse of Doom, you're going to see Doom. That is sure to get Marvel fans hype, but what really stands out how Downey's version of the character is being described. The way the character was described in terms of Downey's interpretation is a classic universal monster like the Phantom of the Opera, a tragic figure and broken figure, and it's part of it is part of his armor. Which I do think what they're going to do is have Robert Downey Jr. Doom have this backstory, like this crazy backstory where kind of like, going back to his origins where probably his family got destroyed in a universe and he's looking for a different universe, kind of like Kingpin in the Spider-Verse, in the Spider-Verse movie where he has to go back and then not go back, but they go back where, his wife died, his son died, and he has to go to different universe and trying to find the right universe to, pretty much get his family back. And Robert Downey Jr.'s, Doom is going to be, looking for that right universe. And I think it's going to be Baby Franklin is going to be his son, and Sue Storm is going to be the wife, and he's going to be looking for them in different universes. And I think they're going to set it up like that. And also it's going to be like a two-sided of the coin where the Phantom of the Opera, tragic figure and broken figure, but needs his armor to function. I've actually heard this rumor before that this Doom is going to need Victor Von Doom is actually going to need his suit to function, and very similar to, Iron Man, to Tony Stark. He needs to as well to go to battle. And I think they're going to make it very similar to that. I think that this trailer is somewhat true to an extent, but also I don't know if it's going to be coming out right in front of Avatar Fire and Ash. I think it's going to come out after this year's over, probably around Super Bowl time. I think that's the perfect time for it to release. I'm not sure they're going to do it right in front of Avatar, but Avatar is from Disney. But this does get me excited. A tragic backstory for a villain is always good. Something like that Phantom of the Opera, this face is disfigured. We'll see to what extent. Hopefully it looks very, very good. And hopefully this movie is great, because I think overall, I think Marvel does need a really good movie. I know they did really good with Deadpool and Wolverine, but they need something to, get people excited again. And I think this trailer is going to be very good. I think the movie is they're bringing the Russo brothers back, and I think they're going to set up something with Secret Wars with Avengers versus X-Men. But who knows, guys? What do you guys think about this trailer? This actual trailer, leak that's been going around. I've heard this from multiple, sources. This is just kind of, a summary that I read online, and this is coming from Chris Gore. I think he's somewhere eligible, but if not, at least it's something for us to speculate. Let's not let our speculations, set expectations too as well. It's fun to speculate. It's fun to speculate and, have an idea what's going to happen and try to guess, and for our minds to wander what characters are going to pop up and, the plot of the story. But let's also tame our expectations in terms of what we want rather than what's going to happen. So guys, that is it for my movie news. Thank you guys so much for clicking on my YouTube channel. I highly appreciate it. Trying to get better at this day by day. Trying to talk about stuff that I personally can, it's easier for me to talk about with, with DC, Marvel, and movies I personally like. But if there's anything that you guys want me to talk about, any other, movies and stuff like that are coming out, please let me know. We got Frankenstein coming out this weekend on Netflix. I'm going to be watching, reviewing that, and then the following weekend I'm going to be watching Running Man, and I'm going to give you guys my thoughts on the new Running Man movie directed by Edgar Wright, starring Glenn Powell. But that is it for your boy CeeLo's. I will see you guys next time.